Alright, hey guys, this is Rose TCG and I'm here to bring you a new video. So this is for Swordsoul and this is the updated deck profile post February 2022 ban list. And this is after the Battle of Chaos set release as well. So yeah, let's just get started here. So this is the Tenyi Swordsoul build, which I felt to be the most consistent. So Ashuna here, I run 3 copies of Ashuna. I run 3 copies of all of them just for consistency's stake. And yeah, just being able to use Ashuna to it lets you just special summon itself for the beginning of your turn. And yeah, it's just a great way to start your plays. And it does let you special summon a Tenyi monster from your deck if you control a face-up non-effect monster. So this does lock you into worms, so just make sure to keep that in mind while you're playing with it. But it's just a nice way to just get out another Tenyi onto the board. And just to continue doing some plays from there. But yeah, 3 of that. 3 Vishuda. Vishuda is nice because it does let you, if you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can banish this card from your hand or grave. Then target one card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So it's just a bouncer, a built-in bouncer. It's really nice for that. Ashuda, Adhar, I mean, is nice because it's a level 1 tuner, which actually does become pretty relevant as Vishuda is a level 7 non-effect. And there's times where you can just get these 2 out and just be able to actually synchro summon through them. And he's level 1, so you're actually able to just normal summon him if you already have one of these out on the board. But yeah, this card can be banished from your hand or grave, then target one of your banished worm monsters, add it to your hand. It's nice, just keeps on giving you more value. And 3 of the Swordsoul strategist Longyuan. So you can discard one other Soul Sword card or one other worm monster. You can special summon this and that token. So this is just a great way of going into a level 10 synchro, and it's a way to deal 1200 damage to your opponent. So it's really nice. And he's like your special summon, your special summon. So you usually want to like normal summon one of these, either the Tai or the Moye, and then after that you get your level 8 synchro, and then you use Swordsoul strategist to get your level 10 synchro. So that's pretty nice for that. Speaking of which, 2 Tai, because Tai is great, but you only need 2 copies of it, and this is kind of the ratio that everybody's been running. You know, it does require you to have a Swordsoul card or worm monster from your grave to banish, so that you can special summon the token. But then it does let you ditch a Swordsoul card or the worm monster from your deck to the grave, which is nice with these Tenyis. And Moye is nice as a 3 of, because if this card is normal or special summon, you can reveal 1 Swordsoul card or one worm monster in your hand and special summon 1 Swordsoul token. So you're gonna want to run 3 of these, as you can just if you get Longyuan and Moye. Sorry if I mispronounced their names, but you can just use Moye to reveal the Longyuan and then special summon it, and from there, or when it's normal or special summon, you do that, and then you get that token, and then you get your level 8 synchro, and then you can use Longyuan to discard a card. And typically if you're able to discard the Tai A, that's pretty great, especially if you're able to bring it back from the grave, because then you could get another level 8 synchro, and that's even before you use your 10 years. But yeah, it's just something to consider. So Ecclesia here, 3 copies of it, as it is your it's basically a free summon if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, which is, you know, if you're going second, that's going to be the case. During the main phase, you can quick effect, you can tribute this card, and then special summon 1 Swordsoul monster, or that's all that matters, from your hand or deck. So it's just a great way to just cheat out any of your Swordsouls and basically get a free synchro out of this card, as these are pretty easy ways to go into a synchro monster. So 3 Ash, 3 Effect Veiler. I thought this was great. You can run different hand traps depending on what you think is relevant for you or your format, or like your locals or whatever you're playing at. But you can change this up if you want. Harpy's Featherlister. I thought initially of running the Cosmic Cyclone, which you could run that if you want. It is pretty flexible. But I thought just running this, since I'm going second anyways, just the Harpy's Featherlister is going to be nice if they set up extra back row. And, you know, Mystic Mind, Skill Drain, and such. Pot of Desire is just a way to draw. Just need extra cards to draw. This is a great way to go about it. Swordsoul Emergence is your searcher, and it does let you do some level manipulation, which is nice, and that gives you another access to synchro monsters that you wouldn't be able to be accessed beforehand. And Vessel for the Dragon Cycle is really nice because you could send one war monster from your deck to the grave, and then if you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can add from your deck to your hand one Tenyi monster with a different name. So it's a great way to just ditch a war monster here, and then if you already have a setup link, you can just add another Tenyi. So it's just this one card just gives you so many plays as you're able to just ditch a card, and depending on the situation that you need it in, let's say you need Vashuda to bounce something, you go for Vashuda. Let's say you need Ashuna to special summon one from your deck, then you can go for that. So it's just a great flexible card, and yeah, it also lets you ditch your worm monsters in case that's relevant, in case you need to bring them back with this. So in case you need to just ditch like a Tai or Moye. And then I run one of the Swordsoul Sacred Summit because it lets you target one Swordsoul monster in your grave, or if you control a synchro monster, you can target one more monster instead, special summon it. And then if this card is banished, you can target one Swordsoul monster. So again, it's just your way of bringing back, it's just your monster reborn for the deck, which is really nice. And then 3 of Infinite Impermanence. Again, it's just a hand trap that I chose to run. I thought it was great. And yeah. And then 2 of Swordsoul Blackout. Swordsoul Blackout is it's a pretty great way if you're going first, as you can just target one of your war monsters you control and 2 cards your opponent controls and destroy them. And then if this card is banished, you can special summon a Swordsoul token, which is nice. You know, it's just a free. This is why this is a good card. It's just ditch and then banish to get an extra token in case you want to go for an extra synchro play. But yeah, a great card, definitely a great card. And then here we have now we're gonna go to the extra deck. So I run 2 of Swordsoul. Here we go. They moved away. Swordsoul Grandmaster Yugioh. So if this card is synchro summon, you can add to your hand or banish one Swordsoul card from your deck. So which is super flexible to use. Typically, you're just gonna want to add one of your Swordsouls. That's what I usually do. Typically, this is the level 8 synchro, so I would just if I synchro with one of these, then I can search out the Lungran and then go for the level 10 synchro. And he's also, during either player's turn, you can negate an effect by banishing one of your Swordsoul or Worm cards from your hand or grave. So again, really great card, really flexible. And yeah, here we have the Supreme Sovereign. So for each banished card, this card gains 100 attack and defense, and monsters your opponent control lose 100 attack and defense. So it just gets bulkier and bulkier, and if this card would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish one card from your grave instead, so it just protects himself from card destruction. And if a card is banished, you can banish one card each. If a card is banished, you can banish one card each from both your opponent's field and the grave. So it's just a great way. It's just great synergy as you're able to just use Yugioh to just banish one to use its like effect, failure type effect, and then it'll trigger this, and you can banish an extra card. So it's just great synergy. And then here's the new Swordsoul Synchro monster that came out in Battle of Chaos. So if you synchro summon another worm monster while this card is on the field, you can draw a card. So it just gives you the ability to draw a couple cards. And then if your opponent special summons a monster, you can banish one of those monsters, and if you do, inflict 1200 damage to your opponent. And then when your opponent activates a spell, trap, or effect, you can banish that card, and if you do, inflict 1200 damage. So again, it kind of goes with like the long run of just doing some extra burn damage. And if you get your opponent in a if they're already clutch on life points, this is just going to be able to prevent them from playing. So really good card to see here. Ready Rose, just banish cards from all graves. It's a decent card. It's a decent card to run. I haven't really summoned it too much because I have Baron the Floor here, which is your Omni Negate, and it's just a really good summon. But if you need the Ready Rose, it's just there, just to consider. Here we have, let me not skip Shenshen. So Shenshen is just your Macrocosmos. Pretty great in case you need that. Draco Berserker of the Tenyi. When your opponent activates a monster effect, you can banish it. So that's nice. And then if this card, if this attacking card destroys an effect monster, by battle and sends it to the grave. This card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack, and then it can make a second attack. So this was a great way. I was doing a duel where I actually accidentally triggered Wake of the Dragons with my I think it was with the Swordsoul Blackout, and accidentally triggered it, and I didn't really have many ways to go and actually beat this card, to beat the Ultimate Falcon that came out of it. And until I saw Draco Berserker, I used Draco Berserker, beat into their other monster, gained the attack, and then attacked again and destroyed the Ultimate Falcon. Okay, these need to be together. 2 Boxia. It's just a great way to bounce some cards. It's a really busted card, and it's just great for Swordsoul to be running it. And then it goes well with the Chao Feng here, as you can just lock your opponent out of light monsters, because if while the Synchro Summon card is on the field, your opponent cannot activate effects of monsters with the same original attribute as the Yang Xing monsters used for the Synchro Summon of this card. So it locks them out of like effect failures. Or if they're running against if they're running a light deck, then they're just screwed. Shaman of the Tenyi, it's just basically a monster reborn for any of your worm monsters. So there's a lot of targets here. You just have to discard a card, bring it back. Really nice to have here. 3 Monk of the Tenyi, this is gonna be your most that's a great starter play for your Tenyis. So running 3 of them I thought was pretty appropriate. So that's pretty much it for the main deck and extra deck. These are just extra cards that like I have been running at a certain point, and then just started ditching them in case you guys want to consider them. Nibiru is just a hand trap, if you want to consider running that. DPE used to be the initial, people used to run this for like Swordsoul, but I think it's kind of gone out of fashion a bit, as this is a lot more consistent and it synergizes well. As there's all these worm monsters that are just working together. It's a bit better than just DP kind of randomly being there. Dragite, Spell Trap, Negate, if you want to consider that. Abounds with Omega. Triple Tactic Talents, in case you're worried about hand traps, you can run that. Same thing with Called by the Grave, in case that's a problem for you. If you don't want to run the effect veilers with the imperms, since you can see that I guess it could be kind of redundant. Even though I do really like this, as they can be both activated multiple times, so they're never really dead in your hand. But if that's a problem for you, then you can run Gamma here and take out the effect failures. And then Token Collector and Cross Out, in case you're worried about the Token Collectors, just Cross Out here. It used to be what I ran in my old build, but I found that this was a whole lot more consistent. And yeah, I've really enjoyed making this deck and playing around with it and beating people with it. It's kind of an unfair deck. There's a reason it's one of the best decks in the format. But yeah, guys, if you liked the video, well, make sure to drop a like. We're close to 200 subs, so if you want to be a big part of that, then just click on the subscribe button. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.